Bienvenidos, clase! Today here at Learn Flute Online, we're going to have a quick discussion all about the subject surrounding the difference between the beginner and the intermediate levels. I'll be right back.
You can do it, and Rebecca will show you how, step by step all along the way. Introducing the Learn Flute Podcast.
Alrighty, let's get started here. It's a beautiful, beautiful day in my studio, and the sun is shining, and the mountains are glowing right outside my window here in my loft where I do all of my work. And we have a fun subject to discuss today that I think will help a lot of new learning flutists, or not so new learning flutists, who come to my website and wonder which membership they should join. Well, if you don't already know, I'm Rebecca Fuller, the expert and owner here at Learn Flute Online, located in the beautiful mountains at the top of Utah, where we ski, hike, fish, and, of course, we play the flute. So first of all, I guess I should start by explaining that the LearnFluteOnline.com website encompasses so many different parts of learning how to play this awesome instrument. Now, besides this podcast, which does include a ton of free learning and tips and hints, there are many articles coming out weekly with great information to help keep you motivated and help you along with certain little parts of learning how to play the flute. You can just not actually learn from looking at sheet music and just holding your instrument. Those come out on the email series, and they're also posted on my website under the bonus section. I'm always happy you're here to learn, and I try really hard to provide as many different resources as possible for you and all of the great people here in our Learn Flute Online community. Now, there's a set of lessons right at the very beginning of the series, which I call the silver level. So let's just get started discussing these different levels that I have here. There are 5 different modules of lessons and information there in the silver level to get anyone started who's interested in learning how to play the flute really well and hasn't started yet. Now, I say really well because I do feel like these lessons are full of everything needed to really take yourself as a home learner or a self-starter and come out with a really beautiful sound and a total understanding of how to play this instrument beautifully. In those silver level lessons, there are about 5 or 6 videos included in each, which show and tell on a very understandable level how to accomplish exactly what is needed in the first little stages, and especially the very first day you receive your instrument. Now, I can't tell you how many people get all excited about learning how to play the flute, and they purchase one, take it home, or if they've ordered it online, they open the box and stare at it, wondering how to put it together. Now, I'm not sure if everyone worries about the safety of their instrument, and a lot of people just kind of seem to go for it. And actually, that reminds me of a story right now of one of my students who called me, asked me how to order a good flute. So this was actually a mother-daughter pair, and I helped them pick one out. They paid for it, and I remember specifically giving them instructions to not touch it until they brought it to their first lesson. Now, I think you can kind of guess right now that when it came, then the mom knew that the young daughter shouldn't touch it, but she assumed that since she was an adult, she could just figure it out. Well, within about 5 minutes, she had the foot joint cross-threaded, totally stuck on there, and the B-flat key was bent, the G-sharp key was bent, as well as the cleaning rod and the cloth jammed, totally wedged inside the body so tight that it wasn't possible to remove without sending to a technician. We had to take the whole entire flute apart and start it fresh. I could not believe it. Well, maybe I could believe it because I think that a lot of people don't really understand how fragile this instrument can be without a little bit of knowledge. So in these first silver lessons, I take some time to really explain and demonstrate how and what needs to happen to keep the instrument from having these issues. They're even small little issues that make a giant difference, the difference between the instrument playing or not playing. If you feel like you're past this beginner stage and you don't need to know these details, well, you might want to rethink this again and just go back in there and rewatch them, because you never know what little thing you may have missed that can make a huge difference to the technical and mechanical part of your flute and keeping it all put together well. Now, if you have not yet entered the lesson series here at Learn Flute Online, all you have to do is enter your name and email in the opt-in box on any page of the website, especially the homepage, learnfluteonline.com, or you can email me at rebecca@learnfluteonline.com, and I'll gladly send you the link to those first 5 lessons. During these lessons, we'll make it from 0 to hot cross buns hero, I like to say. It's pretty awesome. And also, there are really solid skills taught, with the coolest part about it being really solid, clear tone established right from that very first day, which I feel for flute players is the most important part of learning how to play the flute. Now, it's that part that eludes those who are trying to learn on their own, or those who learn from a teacher who's not very well versed or even had proper training. So let's move on to the next level, and we'll talk about this on my website, which is called the gold level. So it goes silver first, and that's very beginner. It's a very small level. And then we move into the gold level, and it is huge. In fact, this is the moment when anyone coming into the lessons you will need to join the membership, either on a monthly basis or a yearly basis, in order to get access to the lessons. These are the premium product lessons on the website, and it is a paid membership, but very affordable. And the great thing is that we pick up right where we left off after module number 5. And I also throw in a little bonus. I swing you at that time. The learning just continues one tiny step at a time all the way through. We move through the folk song level, then we go into the world music and some novelty music that is seriously fun to play. We end up the gold level after more than 80 different modules. And yep, I said 80. I could really talk about this all day long, because the gold level is where virtually every single basic skill is taught and learned in tiny pieces that are easy to digest and understand. It's really fun and motivating too. I have really great music in there, with each module having its own purpose and plan. So now let's get back to the subject of this particular podcast today, where we're going to particularly discuss what comes after the gold level and why it's so different. Well, after we have finished learning how to play, memorize, read, and perform up to the German dance by the Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, the famous man himself, we are really ready to get into some nitty-gritty and even more exciting music. The intermediate level, and I just decided to call it that. I didn't go platinum or anything else. We go silver and then gold and then intermediate level. And it's really exciting. I always tell everyone this level just isn't hot cross buns anymore. In fact, we don't start anywhere near the beginning of learning how to play the flute in this intermediate level. Now, many and most of the basic skills have already been learned in this level, by the time we get to this level, I should say. And the fingerings are memorized, solid tone is established with a clear resonance that will take you super far. We've already learned most of the basic rhythms that you'll find in any music on this entire planet, so we're really ready to get moving. But I do have to tell everyone not to worry, because I still take the approach of the lessons from a really good teacher standpoint, and I keep with one skill at a time, but also understanding that we're simply adding on to previous skills that we've already learned. So I don't take very much time to go through the skills that have already been learned. It's a lot quicker learning, not quite as repetitive, but definitely still packaged up into neat, organized modules. And I have PDF sheet music there for you, the MP3 accompaniments, and of course, all of the video lessons. Now, this special email series that is sent out to the intermediate level students is dedicated specifically to this level. And we learn all sorts of details encompassing this higher, well, I just keep saying level because this is a higher level of learning, including discussions even about the instrument itself. Because I often get emails from people wondering if they have to play on an intermediate level flute, or if they can continue with their student model flute, if they change what they should do with the holes and the plugs and the different keys and buttons. There really are a lot of details to talk about. So that's why I decided to separate the lessons for those who are entering in on this level or those who are finishing the gold level and ready to move here. So now I thought also today that it would be a fun thing to give you a little sneak peek of some of the skills and pieces that are in this intermediate level. Now you might be interested to know that we start right off with double grace notes. They're fun. And we move into a couple of alternative fingerings, but we also learn how to use the A sharp key or the A sharp lever, as some people call it. And I do not ignore the classics and the most famous flute pieces of this world. I put them all in, and we go through some super fun like gavottes and minuets, and then we move into some haunting minor keys with new finger and lip tricks. As I said before, I do not ignore the great pieces like the Humoresque and some of the pieces made famous by Disney. I throw in some Irish pieces that really solidify certain finger patterns. And of course, I do not forget to teach you some real jazz style. You will love it. If you're not already in there, I guarantee you will really be impressed and have a good time. Now, one of the fun things that I've noticed in this intermediate level are that the students are very dedicated to learning how to play the flute. And they really do practice, and we love hearing from each of you each week on your progress. My favorite are the brave souls who post their videos for us to watch their progress. How much fun is that? I love clicking on those and watching those, and oh man, my heart just swells and I'm super proud. And I've also found a fun way to learn scales and patterns. Teaching you that is great. So many flute students skip over some of these important parts of learning on the instrument because they feel like they might be kind of boring, or they don't really understand the purpose, etc., of these scales and certain little details. But I've really tapped into a fun way to learn those. So make sure you get into those modules and go through those that especially teach you the certain scale patterns, because I think you're going to have a good time. The little comments and the feedback that I get from all you students in this level is that it's really, really great. So thank you for mentioning that. Another thing I should say today before we end is that one of the most important parts of becoming a well-rounded musician who can do everything is that we should study all of the different styles of music. Now, there are so many genres to explore, and I don't like to ignore these because they're a very important part of learning how to play with really great style. And learning how to play the flute well doesn't have to do with just memorizing the fingerings, that's for sure. So, for those of you who are either entering into the LearnFluteOnline.com membership areas as a brand new flutist or a returning flutist with quite a bit of previously learned knowledge, I think you can see that there is definitely something for all of you. I'm a dedicated teacher who cares greatly about her students and wants everyone to have access to real high-level learning right from the beginning. It's definitely a way to set yourself up for success. Now, here's a little testimonial from one of my students in the intermediate level. Her name is Cynthia, and she's been doing a fabulous job moving through the lessons at her own pace, of course, still. She's been discovering her strengths and her weaknesses, and she sent me this the other day. She says, "I learned so much in the gold level, but now that I'm in the intermediate level, though, the real fun is just beginning." Well, thank you, Cynthia. I appreciate it so much. Now, I hope those of you who are listening today will have either learned something new or renew your excitement and love for this beautiful instrument. As usual, if you have any questions or comments for me, I would love to hear from you. Please email me at this address, Rebecca, that's REBECCA, at learnfluteonline.com. And if you're listening to this podcast on iTunes now, it would be a really fabulous time for you to leave a comment and a rating, because this is how iTunes decides how often or the ranking of this show. We want all of our flute friends to be able to participate, so leave a comment and rating now. And if you're listening to this show from my website, or you might be on YouTube, it would be really great to give this a thumbs up and leave a comment or a question for me. I read every single one. I'm dedicated to this business and I work on it every single day. Thanks so much for listening today, and I really appreciate it. I hope you can go get out your instrument and play some beautiful music today. Polish up that flute really pretty for the next time. I'm Rebecca Fuller, the expert and owner here at Learn Flute Online, saying bye now.
Thanks for listening today. Remember that this is where people of all ages, such as you, can come, learn, and play the musical instrument flute in an easy-to-follow, organized manner, and in the privacy and comfort of your own home, on your own schedule.